Good afternoon. Welcome to the Recreation Joint Advisory Committee for July. So this is a little unusual. I am no longer on the committee, and the vice chairman also is no longer on the committee. So I have been asked to come tonight to facilitate the meeting. I cannot vote or participate in any way like that. I'm just here to make sure everything goes as best as possible, okay? So we're gonna start off with approval of last month's minutes. Do I have an motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 opposed? Oh, okay. Passed. Thank you. All right. This evening or this afternoon, we have 2 visitors. As everybody knows, we have 3 openings on the committee. Tonight, we have 2 people here applying for those positions. We'll let them come up to the mic one at a time, introduce themselves, and tell us why they would like to be on the committee. After they both speak, we are going to do a live vote, contrary to what I put in my email, because we were expecting additional people, and we would have had to do it via email. There would have been too many, but with just 2, we'll vote for approve or no for each of the candidates in succession. So, Corey, welcome. Would you like to go first? Sure. Thank you, sir.
Whoa. I'm short, but whatever.
That's fine.
I'm Corey Sproul. My wife and family and I moved here in October of 2021. I'm in ministry. I'm a college and young adult minister at the Bella Vista Church of Christ, which is sandwiched between Lowe's and Walgreens. So my wife is a teacher, 4th grade teacher at Cooper Schools in Bella Vista. We have Hunter, who is 7, whose favorite amenity is probably fishing at the lakes. We have Emma, who is 4 or 5 now, and her favorite amenity is probably swimming at any of the pools. We use the amenities one of them at least, nearly every day, several times a week. We moved here from a suburb of Little Rock called Cabot, and we're there for my whole life. And so this is the first move I've ever made, was from Cabot to Bella Vista. We absolutely love it here. We love the uniqueness of the community. We love the activities. Hunter and Emma both learned to swim in the Kingsdale pool. Hunter shot a gun for the first time at the Highlands gun range. And so we're trying to make this our home. And I feel like to make a place your home, you need to be involved in it a fair bit. Where we came from, I was on the local Chamber of Commerce and some community coalitions. The Air Force Base was in the neighboring town. I was on the community council for that. And I just love doing that kind of stuff. I've sat out of it for 2.5 years, and I'm ready to get back into it. And so this is the way I would like to do it. So thank you.
Corey, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Larry, would you like to come up next?
Thank you. I'm also short, so we're a good couple here. I'm Larry Lepardo. I moved here only about 1.5 years ago. My daughter has lived in Bella Vista for 5 years, and we got my son out a couple months ago, so I've got everybody right here. After I retired from, I'm a lawyer, a recovering lawyer, in Portland, Oregon. We knew we'd move here because my daughter's promised grandchildren, and I'm really glad that we have done that. She's not delivered yet. Someone's asked me, is it a breach of contract if she doesn't have children? I'm not even going to go there because she's a lot tougher than I am anyway. As a lawyer, I had 3 careers. I started out as a trial lawyer in San Jose doing a lot of real estate, construction, employment work. It was kind of a law firm that specialized in that sort of thing. And then my partners and I ran a manufacturing company for 10 years, made printed circuit boards. And that took me to Oregon, and then I left them. And the last 23 years of employment, I was chief legal officer for post-acute healthcare, so that's skilled nursing, assisted living, independent rehab. We grew to be a pretty good size company by the time I retired in March of 22. Then my wife and I traveled for quite a bit of time, and then we bought the house here. I think I bring a lot of analysis tools, collegial decision maker. I think that in most situations, when you get all the facts together, you can come to a decision on issues pretty straightforward, and most people can agree on them. Like Corey mentioned, this is a tremendous community. I mean, I knew we were moving here because my daughter lived here, and I didn't want to be more than 10 or 15 minutes away. She lives out in the Highlands. But I have just been blown away by the recreational opportunities. I know everybody says that, but it's true. I have a Old Town Vapor 10 kayak, so I'm on lakes a fair amount. But more than that, I'm at least 5 days a week, usually at the rec. I was there this morning in the weight room because usually I swim in the pool, but it's kind of questionable. So in fact, by the time I left the weight room, the staff must have asked people because there was no one at the adult pool any longer. But they're great amenities. Pardon? We just closed it a little while ago. Okay, so I made a really good choice to go in and lift weights instead of going for a short period of time at the pool. But the amenities here are amazing. It's why I want to give back to the community by being on this group and listening to the employees. That's a big thing that I am a fan of, as well as the members, about what's needed. So that's why I want to join this group, and I appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Larry, thank you. Does anyone have any questions they want to ask either of the two applicants for clarification on anything that they said? Yes, sir.
Corey, what was your last name?
Spruill. It's like drool.
Well, S-P-R-U-E-L?
S-P-R-U-I-E-L-L.
Oh. It's on my agenda. Thank you. Appreciate it.
If you wouldn't have asked, you wouldn't have gotten this great response. I know.
Now we'll remember it forever. Anybody else? All right, we're going to go ahead and vote then. So do I have a motion to vote for Curry Spruill to join the Recreation Committee?
I motion that we vote for Corey.
A second?
A second.
All in favor? Okay, that passed unanimous. Corey, your name will be sent on to the Board of Directors. I believe the meeting's the 27th of this month for certification. Okay? Next, moving on to Larry. Do I have a nomination for Larry?
I move that we vote on Larry.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, it was unanimous. Same with you, Larry. We'll send your name on to the board. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your interest. And I'll just add real quickly, I've been on this committee for 3 years. Best decision I made in regards to my community. I've learned a lot. I have met so many people. I've gotten engaged in so many other activities locally that really good decision. So thank you for your interest.
Deborah, might I suggest while they're here, because I don't know if you're going to stay for the whole meeting, but we all go around and introduce ourselves, because perhaps they don't know who staff is and who are some of our other members of the committee are.
Sure. Go ahead, Joan. You want to start?
Sure. I'm Joan Glebzinski. Nice to meet you both. I think I've seen you both around. I'm the Director of Recreation. I oversee, the short way to answer it is everything active but golf. So, and Jessica will introduce herself. She's on my team, my senior manager, but we're responsible for the swimming pools you mentioned, the lake and the lake parks, while Rick also is responsible for the lakes. And the parks. We have the 3 rec centers, the marina, the campground, Blowing Springs, all the playgrounds, pickleball courts, the tennis complex, all the major parks with everything like playgrounds, etc. Branchwood, Kingsdale Complex, beach at Lake Avalon, all of those. What else am I missing? Oh, Metfield Park, and then also I'm responsible for the trails for Bella Vista, which is a joint partnership with the city. I oversee all the trail maintenance, which the city pays half of, and the POA pays half of, but the POA manages that, and I manage that. So Jessica will share about her.
I'm Jessica Anson. I'm the Senior Recreation Manager in Aquatics. So I would say Joan's right hand. She's not busy.
And left
so
hand.
we really, yeah. And Larry, I think I've seen you at the rec, and I've definitely seen you and I believe Emma, your daughter, at the pool before. That's how I knew how to spell your last name. But welcome.
Hey, guys. I'm Richard Taylor. I've been on the committee about a year. I'm currently secretary, take the minutes, while I was asking your last name. I'm also a retired lawyer. There's 9 of us on the committee, and we each are assigned specific amenities to review every month and come to the meetings with comments on the condition and, or just a summary of our review of the condition of the amenities. And I'm currently doing Kingsdale Rec Center, tennis courts, pool, and the playground and pavilion over there, just kind of the Kingsdale area. But welcome to the committee, both of you.
I'm Rick Eccles. Rick Eccles, Superintendent of Fisheries, Lakes, and Parks, and we take care of the water and things associated with the water.
I'm John Urquid. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Lakes, Parks, and Fisheries. I'm chiefly responsible for the gun range and or those 2 gun range facilities. So all things related to firearms usually go through me, and then other than that, just helping with the management of the Lakes and Park system. Look forward to working with each of you.
I'm Tom Jetson. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the POA.
Brian Michelson, Corey, Larry, I'm Brian Michelson. I have been taking care of the amenities, Tyree Park and Granton Park. This will be my last month to do that. I'll be switching over and doing advising on the gun ranges. Corey, just to give you a little heads up, being as you're a native of Cabot, I lived in Austin.
I actually lived in Austin.
For about a year.
Where Austin is. I always
None of you people are going to know where Austin is.
It's in Texas.
I was Little Rock, northeast. I was stationed at Little Rock Air Force Base for 4 years, and that's why I was living in Austin.
Great.
But yeah, welcome to the committee.
I'm Robert Williams, currently looking over the Metfield complex. And you'll see me hanging around the various fitness centers. I'm a trainer here for the 3 fitness centers we have. I've been on this committee for, I think, less than a year still, so glad to have you aboard.
Hey guys, I'm Keith McCloskey. I'm 6 months in the volunteer position, 21 years in Bella Vista, really active in pickleball, lakes, hiking, mountain biking on our great trails, and love it here and look forward to working with you guys.
I'm Alan Atkins. I have my amenities is Tanyard Creek and trails in Blowing Springs. Welcome to the committee.
All right, thank you, everyone. We'll move into the amenity reports. Robert, you want to lead us off with Metfield?
Sure. All right, the fitness center was moderately busy the days I visited. The pavilion area was clean and being used by several families. The park restrooms looked great. Playground was being used by several families that I had plenty of conversations with. Pickleball courts were in use at the time and looked great. Pool area looks great, and the building's clean. Areas for review, unfortunately, it looks like the basketball hoop, the other hoop, someone's been hanging from, and it's on its last little piece of metal.
It's been ordered and they'll install it. They had to do a custom fit on the other one that broke within the last few months, but they're already working on it. So
okay, great.
You were right. It was on its last leg.
Yeah, is it still up? Did it finally come down?
I believe they took the ram down.
They took it down, okay.
They took the ram down, yeah.
Okay. So member interactions, I spent most of the mornings in the week of the 17th at the pool and playground because my grandson was taking lessons, which he loves and gets a lot out of it. That is just an awesome, awesome thing we do. She was great with the kids. the comments I got from the families that were both there and in the playground were all positive. They moved here specifically for the recreational amenities that we have that really can't be found all in one area. And so there wasn't a single negative comment whatsoever. Most of what they move here are for hiking, biking, pools, fitness centers, and the lakes. The observations, I really didn't see any of note other than the basketball. That's all I have.
Thank you, Robert. Brian, would you like to cover Tyree, Granton, and then you want, oh, that was it for this month, right? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Deb. Tyree Park, as usual, everything was mowed and the trash was picked up and things were looking fairly good as far as the grounds go. Everything was supplied, mutt mitts, the restrooms. Restrooms are relatively clean. The watercraft storage rack was certainly in good shape, and all of the boats were secure on that rack. I did talk to actually quite a few people out at Tyree. There was a couple of fathers, not together but separate, who one had brought his daughter to fish, and the other had brought his daughter and son to fish, and they were doing some shore fishing out there, which was wonderful to see. And I talked to an older couple who had just arrived as I was getting ready to leave, and they were going to get on their pontoon boat with their adult children and spend the day out on Loch Lomond. All of the people that I spoke with were pleased with Tyree. They go out there multiple times. They use the park regularly, and they just think it's a great place. A couple of things to mention that I did notice out at Tyree is one of them is, and I know that we've had some erosion issues at the large culvert. It kind of looks like somebody had put some gravel there, but that gravel is not there anymore. It's now a little further down. One of the things that I noticed is the small culvert by the pavilion. The ends of that culvert, both ends, have been smashed down for a period of time since I've been reviewing that park. But I noticed that the downstream end is really getting pinched off, and it appears to be plugged, and it makes me wonder if that's putting an excessive amount of rainwater on the road, taking it down to where that large culvert is and causing that washout. Just something to look into. Rick, you may know this, 2 pallets of concrete mix right there at the boat ramp. Is that to repair that apron, or is that?
That would be for a project on the lake, somebody's project on the lake. If
Okay,
it stays there more than a couple of
it's right
days.
there next to the ramp. It may kind of impede people using the ramp, just to mention.
If it's going to be there more than a couple of days, we need to find out who it belongs to and get it moved.
Yeah, because it is right there on the edge. Moving on to Granton. Granton, of course, always a beautiful park. I was a little dismayed this first time that I've seen this at Granton. I'm assuming it's excess use. A couple of the garbage cans were full. Actually, people had piled large amounts of garbage next to the can. But obviously animals, wind, etc., can take that debris and spread it all over the place. But that is the first time that I've actually seen an issue with trash at Granton. Fish cleaning station was in good shape. Of course, the restroom was stocked. The outhouse was stocked. Everything looked good. The trash was picked up for the most part. A couple of little pieces here and there. I did talk to a gentleman at Granton who was basically just using the boat dock to unload his boat so he could do a trailer repair in the parking lot. It's not the first time I've seen that at Granton. People kick their boat in the water, fix their trailer, and then put their boat back on, and off they go. The last couple of meetings that we had, I know I brought up a kayak at Granton on the rack, and I just wanted to add to that story. I've mentioned before that the most recent registration sticker on that kayak is from 2018. I noticed a note, and it is in my report, someone had put on there that basically states that, hey, this is my spot, I pay rent on this, I need you to move your kayak so that I can bring my boat down. Just to kind of follow through on that, I went down and talked to Member Services today. Splendid experience, very professional. The folks stationed there at Medfield, and they went ahead and picked up the ball on that. I gave them all of the information that I had in the pictures, and they're gonna take care of that for Thomas, who is supposed to have his boat there and apparently cannot. So hopefully something will get done with that kayak. And it was touched on a little bit. I did not have time to get to the gun range when the gun range was actually open. When I say gun range, I'm talking about trap and skeet. Obviously, the pistol and rifle are under construction. Would that be the right term, Tom? Lots of fresh dirt out there. Looks like the berms are going up, and that's wonderful. Hopefully people are driving by and seeing that, and it'll cool their jets a little bit and know that the POA is taking care of it and planning on reopening it. So I do want to mention, I know I'm getting a little long-winded here, but I did have a lot to talk about. I have two other issues, if I can just cover them real quick. One of them, a sign has been posted at Avalon at the dam that basically after 7 p.m. fishing only. Someone approached me on this, a POA member, and said, we swim out there, it's our favorite place to go. Most of the time we can't get out there till after 7. Now you're saying we can't swim there anymore.
I believe I've spoken to those people, and the reason for that is the yearly issue that we had between Memorial Day and Independence Day, which we're now past. But that sign was put up to mimic the beach hours, because what has happened is when we run people away from the dam, they end up going to the beach, and then vice versa. And it's just, we're just chasing the kids from one location to the other. And they're doing things that kids do, drinking and jumping off the roof at the heated dock, and squealing tires on the dam and that kind of thing. So we have placed a combination lock there, and we do have a few people that are daily users of that area, and if they want to contact my office, I'll give them the combination.
I'll pass that on to the folks that talk to me then.
Okay.
Great. And then I got a couple of quick things on Blowing Springs. The foliage on the south side of the entrance road there along the RV park still is impinging on over the road. If you do meet an oncoming car, you have a choice of not moving over or moving over and scratching your vehicle. So I wanted to just bring that up again.
Brian, can you share where exactly, because I did have them trim back certain areas, and I do know that team is a little short-handed, but I can follow up with them.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up again. I know it's been brought up a couple of times in the past, and it's so once you're past the guard shack, just a little ways, and then before you get to the Quonsets, it's on the south side of the road.
Mm-hmm. After the low water bridge.
Or it's actually right at the low water.
It's kind of, it's right after the low water bridge, I believe, and then you kind of get in close to the edge of the woods and the stream along there, and then pretty much where that foliage stops at where you get into like the tent camping area.
I'll follow up on
and not to interrupt, but I think many of us visited Blowing Springs wanting to help, but in my report there's a picture of it, so it may help with directing them where it is.
Thank you.
And the other one is actually kind of a twofer. It's been mentioned to me multiple times about the folks that work in the Connex at the Gear Garden having to dolly full kegs over the very rough cut mulch. It's extremely difficult for them. It's a bit of a rough ride when you've got that much weight on a small wheel dolly. I'm throwing that out there.
That's a F&B issue, Brian, and they elected that setup, so we'll pass it along to them. But it's not unfortunately, that's that area, and I'll talk to them, but that's kind of the setup that they asked for. So.
Well, and so moving forward with the same mulch issue, I've walked on that mulch and not had too much issue, but I've seen a lot of people, a lot of kids that are sliding on some of that stuff. I had to actually have a sample that I forgot to bring that I was going to. I was sitting out there a couple of weeks ago, and a woman not more than 3 feet away from me was walking past and almost went down, and I picked up the piece of mulch, about the size of a quarter, about 6 inches long, that she actually did in fact slip on. Do with that information what you will, but I've seen it happen many, many times, and then of course I've had it mentioned to me, so I'm just throwing that out there. Deb, that's all I've got.
Hey, Brian, thank you very much. All right, JP could not be here tonight. He's traveling. However, he did send a report in for Lake Avalon, and I will read it to you. He doesn't have the date he was there. The beach is open and attracts many visitors. Additional areas for review, none. Additional observations: the beach and surrounding area are in excellent condition. The sand in the volleyball pit and the beach is pristine. The surrounding lawns are perfectly cut. The water is great. I spoke to Lily, the lifeguard, who was working at the kiosk when I came by. She has no issues or concerns to report regarding the attendance and behavior of guests. There are noticeably less canoes on the racks, and most have 24 stickers. The floating dock is in good order. Restrooms and the pavilions were clean, even with the increase in visitors. Thanks to the team who keep our facilities in such great condition. JP. All right, now we will move over to Richard at Kingsdale Rec.
I participated in the 4th of July tennis mixer, and that was kind of the day I went around and kind of checked everything out. But the mixer, there were about 32 people that participated. There's food and drinks and available, and everyone seemed to have a really good time. Facility was in good shape. I know that we're already aware of most of this, but there's the cracks in the courts are getting progressively worse, particularly parts 1, 7, and 8 are getting pretty hard to play on almost. There is an overhanging tree on court 7, which I think maybe should be trimmed back. It's kind of hanging over the fence, and it might, kind of fall and damage that fence in the next storm. The rec center, everything seemed to be looking really, really good there. I have noticed virtually every time I go play tennis or go to the rec center, there's a panel truck, a clear fruit panel truck parked in the parking lot there in the north of the front door, kind of in the corner on the west end of that rec center parking lot, and it's there all the time. I mean, I know it's not really causing a problem, but I mean, it seems like it's just.
I noticed it just this week, but you've noticed it multiple times.
Oh yeah, it's almost always there.
Yeah, I do know on occasion we have a member who might drive a truck for work, and I've noticed sometimes they park them on our property, but I'll have Clay check into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really causing a problem. He's parked kind of away from the building in the corner, but it's kind of like it's being. I've
never noticed it overnight. Have you?
Well, I don't know.
You're not patrolling overnight. Probably.
No, but I've seen it. I play it at night.
If I could interject on that real quick, I use the facility fairly early in the morning, about 4 o'clock, and I've noticed it there at 4 o'clock in the morning several times. So
we'll check into it. Thanks.
But I don't know. It's necessarily a problem, but it's kind of being used for storage, I think. The pools, they seem to be in great shape. They're all open on the 4th. Is one closed now? You mentioned
just closed because of weather.
Oh, okay.
We haven't closed. No, we
open daily. They're open on the 4th and packed. Lots of people there, so everybody seemed to be having fun. They look fine. The mini golf course is in good shape. Earlier, not on the 4th, but earlier, I noticed that on the storage building there by the mini golf, there was a string of lights that used to be on the, I guess.
They're left over from Halloween.
Yeah.
We decided we like them.
They were kind of hanging loose there, but that was a while back. Yeah, they were just kind of hanging down. That was a few weeks ago. I didn't check that again on the 4th, but that string of lights was kind of hanging loose. Playground, looks like it's open now and looked to be in good shape. The pavilion was in good shape. The restrooms were clean and stocked. And that is all I have to report.
Richard, thank you, appreciate it. Keith, you want to take your 2 parks, Lake Anne and London?
Yeah, I'll mention briefly my visit to Blowing Springs. Had good interaction with Nancy at the front gate. Saw the low water crossing mentioned prior. A couple of things she had mentioned: the RV pads need weeds better trimmed, and gravel perhaps need to be raked and limbs removed more. Just, you know, when you ask for feedback, you just write down what they give you. You know, as a golfer, I've been spoiled by AC in our bathrooms on the golf courses, and you almost don't want to leave, especially in June. But I was surprised no AC in the bathrooms at the campground. It's just just a matter of cost.
And it's an older building, and it is a cost thing, and also people tend to mess with those a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if we ever do an upgrade, that would definitely be a part of it.
Yeah. It wasn't that hot, but I visited on 7/6, and our heat wave had kind of passed by then.
People to get in and get out.
That's a great point. I thought about that too. Do we want overnighters? The campground bathrooms, everything looked good. One consideration mentioned by the worker is deodorizers in the urinals to keep them a little better smelling. She mentioned bathrooms tend to smell a bit. And I also included a picture of where I enter, and this is just always looking out for me. I often enter the park from the eastern entrance, which is not really an entrance, it's just where the path ends. Thank you.
Yeah, Manchester.
And, that area tends to get rutted where people like me park. I just wondered if we considered either throwing some pavement or a gravel down maybe a little more often.
So that's probably city right away. So I can check with our MAC department to see, but you're talking about the area that's kind of a little bit of gravel right off the road there on Manchester.
Yeah.
I'll ask MAC.
You can get 4 to 6 cars there and maintain a decent distance from the road.
That's where I park.
Yeah.
And if you do that, there's also a water main cutoff.
Yep.
It's missing. It's missing the cover. So if somebody gets out of a car, they can step in a 3-foot hole.
And we could lose them.
Or a dog or something like that, you know. Anyway, I mentioned it a couple of months ago, and it's still doing the same thing. So.
Thank you.
Member interactions there were good. Had a couple from Tulsa that visits / bikes about once a year. Love it here. Another couple from Centerton using the amenities. One interaction I thought interesting is I asked Nancy at the gate how often people stop to see if they are open, if the amenity is open to everybody. And I love that amenity. I love Blowing Springs, always have. And you know, is that part of our agreement with Bentonville to leave that amenity open because it does contain trails?
It doesn't have anything to do with Bentonville. The trails are open to the public, but the park really is open to the public too.
Yeah.
I would say over the years, and Nancy's pretty new to our team. She's only been there about 2 months and she's doing a great job. But I would say over the years, people stopping at that front gate are less and less.
Yeah.
We used to have the sign that says, you know, private property only, but it's not really true because we allow, just like golf, we allow campers who are members as well as campers who aren't members. Gear Garden, we don't differentiate to who can attend there. So while we don't want thousands and thousands of cars going through it, it's one of those, it's a little bit of a trade-off.
And we're able to accommodate them as well, for the most part.
While we can, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it doesn't really have to do specifically with the trails. It's a combination of things, but the trails is part of it. That is the trailhead that's outside of the park proper is certainly open to the public too.
Yeah, thanks for that. Lake Ann, both the dam and boat ramp area, condition at Dam Park was great. Visited 7-4 Waterfall Bridge and Trail in fantastic shape as always. The covered dock and fishing clean station, great. Trash cans, bathrooms, always great. Ramp area, the park had minimal leaves. Boy, that's old. The areas for review at the dam park, the Waterfall Bridge cable is still out, and I forgot if I was sorry if I was told prior that we don't maintain that bridge as part of the POA, the bridge at the waterfall.
Are you talking about the
Lake Ann waterfall?
Oh,
that's part of the trail? Are you talking about Pinion?
yes.
Are you talking about Pinion?
The
Behind T.H. Rogers, the large bridge?
Correct.
That's part of the trails. The POA per se doesn't maintain it, but I manage the trails, so if you know something, you can bring it to me, and we'll either see if one of our contractors can do it, or if it's a bigger issue, who we have to get involved.
The wooden bridge has cable dividers. One of the cables has given way, pulled out of its joint, so therefore is laying in not necessarily a safety concern, just a more aesthetic concern.
Cables on that Pinion Bridge. You're talking
correct, over the waterfall.
Over the big spillway, yep.
Yeah. So rather than wood slatted.
Yep. But that's rails, a metal bridge.
Rather than wood slatted rails, there are 4 cables that run. You can see in my report that there's a picture.
I'll take a look at your.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hand it to you.
And we'll check into it. Thank you for that.
And concrete or stone walkway leading to the bridge, there's a lot of overgrowth that someone could spray and remove, if indeed that's part of our responsibility.
That will be taken care of by the trail maintenance team.
Yeah.
I will tell you that they're backed up still from storms, so they're slicing away at the high priority things first, but I'll mention it to them for sure.
Still a couple boards missing on the fishing dock, the larger of the fishing docks, and I included pictures on the report. In the launch area of Lake Ann, reviewed 7-7, pavilion barbecue area is great, portlets, both clean stock, trash cans good, ramp cleaning station well kept, 2 canoes, 2 kayaks with 23 or later registration. All docked boats had proper registration with the exception of an old Sweetwater that's been there a while. It's the same boat we saw a few months ago that had construction materials sitting on it. That boat doesn't have proper registration.
And they typically don't. We ask that they do, but it's more of an ask than a requirement.
Yeah.
Because we don't really want to, the purpose of those boats is not recreation on the lakes. The purpose is to help people improve their property. So we don't charge a fee for that, but we do like the registration system is a way that we can know who they are. And so when they're doing something wrong, we can get in touch with them. We've been trying to get them to comply for years, and we'll reach out to them.
Just to clarify, it looked like a recreational boat that the last time I saw it had construction materials on it.
Okay.
So it was slotted, I think slot 4, with prior recreation registration numbers on it. Just the one expired of the 6-7 boats there.
We'll check it out.
There was one bumper pulling away on the ramp dock at Lake Ann. Pic was included. You do not want to see the pic of the urinal and the bathroom by the dam. It's just as paper made its way into it, it just became an eyesore and a nose sore as well. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Keith. Alan, you want to bring us home?
Gotcha.
Turn around. We're at Tanyard Creek, and it's well maintained, aesthetically pleasing, trails clean of underbrush and litter. Common areas have been recently mowed, looks beautiful. Paved trails have been cleaned. Benches have been repainted. Interpretive signs have been restored and missing signage replaced. We've added some new steps at the east end of the swinging bridge to make it it's kind of steep right there. So have you seen those new steps? Yeah, they're working out real well. Anyway, and that limb at the pavilion, y'all took care of that. Thank you very much.
There should be a new load of gravel.
I haven't been by. I've been out of town, so I hadn't been by.
Okay, well, I'll double check to make sure that that's there.
Yeah, Randy had asked for that. Okay, member interactions. I ran into a group from Indiana leaving the trail, and they were all just giggly, and they couldn't believe the beauty of Tanyard Creek and how well we talked about. Of course, we had just cleaned. I'm a member of the Tanyard Creek Nature Trail Volunteers. We just cleaned up. They said we didn't even find one cigarette butt on the whole trail system. That's incredible. I've never seen a trail that clean. Anyway, they were very happy. Let's see. The Tanyard Creek Nature Trail Volunteers have just wrapped up their spring projects. Randy Ham, the volunteer coordinator, released this report. Number one, kept the trail and grounds clean, kept the waterfall trash can empty, touched up paint on all the signposts, benches, and a couple of bridges, added steps to the steep approach area next to the swinging bridge, cleaned all the water bars of gravel, added additional stone steps and drop-offs on the wet spots, caught up on all the sign replacements, kept overhanging branches off the trail, kept up with weed eating around benches and signs, kept poison ivy well back from the trail, remounted the chain bridge after high water had moved it off the foundations, maintained the cactus garden, replaced missing signs, repaired the electric wheelbarrow tires and motor, and made progress on what we're going to do on those big benches is go to oil-based paint because we keep having to paint them all the time. So we're making progress on that. What they'll keep doing during the summer is keep the poison ivy back, overhanging branches, weed eating, sign replacements, trash pickup, of course, and finish painting all the benches. This group of volunteers are incredible. Every Tuesday I met with them, anywhere from 12 to 15 of them, just fly out into the park and do all kinds of projects. I don't know what to say. It's just a super group of people. Maybe we need to get more groups around more of the amenities, like Friends of the Park, stuff like that. Anyway, let me get back here. I'll do the, if I can find it. Okay, trails, Blowing Springs Greenway, overall condition, Bella Vista, Back 40, and Little Sugar conditions. All trails are open on Little Sugar except the Tunnel Vision Bluebird Trailhead. It all says ride with caution, not knowing what might be in the trail in front of you. Back 40, all trails are open, ride with caution. I noticed the other day walking from the parking lot at Blowing Springs up to Houston Road, there's two areas where some gravel's washed out on the paved trailway. Right behind the renter cabins, little cabins is one of them, and the other place is intersection of Low Ride Trail. That's about it.
Alan, thank you very much. Several comments have been made tonight regarding our volunteer organizations that help with maintenance around the community. And for any of you who are out there listening, the entire community is so grateful for you. We are a fabulous community. This recreation area that we have is so huge, and it would not look as fantastic as it does without the cooperation between the great management team that the POA has and the volunteers that are out there helping keeping it going. So anyone listening, thank you very much for your help. All right, we are running a little late tonight, but if I could just get your patience, we'll get through this because we still have a couple very important topics to cover. So, Tom, did you have an update for us tonight on the gun range?
I'm going to give a extremely fast update. We did this at the June board meeting, so if I go too fast, if I miss anything, just go watch that one. It's a lot more in depth. So you'll see the date of this is the 27th. Here are the main things that we've accomplished is we finally got title to the additional land that we needed. It took us 6-7 months. Unfortunately, Cooper was dealing with the Blue Crane transaction, and in the newspaper it said $47 million, and so for whatever reason they put our $10,000 project after the $47 million project. I have no idea why they do that. So we were waiting in line for a long time, but we got it, so that's great. And there was no way we're going to start working on the project until we own the land. I mean, God forbid you make improvements to the land and all of a sudden they change their mind and they don't sell it to you. That's not a good conversation I want to have with the board of directors. Our maintenance and construction team, our MAC team, has started their planning, and as was reported, someone over here reported, yeah, they're out there moving a lot of soil. They got a lot of the berms already built. They have some of the trees pulled out, so they're making really good headway. And they've already demoed some of the project. So we're making a lot of really good progress in a short amount of time. This is the dark black line is the new property boundary. The light gray line is the original land that we owned. So you'll see that we had to acquire that additional space in order to build the additional berms. This is just a little bit of the work, but if you've been out to the gun range, there is no cover now on the rifle side. That's the top left picture. You can even see the little remnants of the supports. So we'll have brand new shoot houses when we're all done, and you can see that they're already taken down some of the razor wire, the barbed wire, because they have to remove that fence and relocate it. So not a lot of pictures. These are some slides from one of our previous presentations. The pistol side is on the left and the rifle is on the right, and you can see the location of the baffles and how the berms really create a very good environment so that bullets will not escape. This is a zoom in. You really kind of lose the definition as you zoom in, but you can see how there's going to be 4 baffles and higher berms, and you can see the shoot houses, more shoot houses. So we're going to have approximately 12 positions instead of 6 positions. So that's going to be really good. And here is what the plans look like. And you can even see the measurements of where they're going to be locating them. They'll probably have to wiggle those a little bit because we have a septic system right in the middle there. So we don't want to put a big post in the middle of a septic system. So you got to work around that kind of stuff. This is the rifle side, the pistol side, and the resolution's not very good, but you can see the baffles and the berms once again. And this is what the overhead looks like. And this is the what the berms are going to look like. And you'll see, so you have the original property line and the new property line, so you can clearly see why we need to acquire the additional property because of the size of those berms. You know, on the bottom right, that one is completely on new land, and then the bottom section is new land. So. Or the land that we just acquired. And Cooper was really, I mean, they sold us all this land for $10,000, which is very reasonable. When we're all done, it will be handicap accessible. We've done made a lot of great strides with all the buildings that we've been renovating over the last 10 years and making them handicap accessible. So that's really good. These numbers are from last year. You can see that we were steadily going up and up, and then we had to close it. And you'll see that Ozark Sportsman has helped us. 571 is clearly we're not getting everybody going down there. It's a heck of a drive, but we're at least taking care of some people, and we really don't have any alternatives anyways. And we're still looking at $300,000. Most of the work is going to be done in-house. There's some things that we can't do ourselves, like we're not a civil engineer. We can't design the whole thing. You need a license to do that. We had to have some survey work done, but a lot of the materials to build the baffles and so forth, we're not going to charge labor for that. We're just charging the supplies and so forth. So we're estimating $300,000. We got the land for $10,000. And last thing, estimated completion. I'm not going to give you an estimate because we're so new into the project, and I just don't want to disappoint anybody. We understand the importance of getting this work done as quickly as possible, but it's too early right now to guesstimate, and then we get it wrong. So, but you're seeing the work, and so it's definitely dispelling the social media rumors that are not based in fact. So, any questions? There you go.
Tom, thank you for that. Joan, did you have Trailblazer monthly usage statistics?
I do. Total for the month of June, 44,387. Remember, that's just recorded uses. I would argue we've probably seen at least double of that. And year to date, we're up to 192,687 recorded uses. And again, some of the highlights, Blowing Springs Greenway is one of the popular trails, as well as the trail coming right off the soft surface trail coming right off of the Blowing Springs trailhead. And then Huntley Gravity Zone, which if you're not a mountain biker, you may not know, but that is an area with lots of fun jumps and features. And those types of riders tend to repeat. So that number is the highest, but it's also because they're doing multiples.
Joan, thank you for that. All right. Under new business, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to vote for a new chairman, a vice chairman, and a secretary. These are one-year terms. We will take nominations from the committee members who are here. You may nominate yourself. You may nominate someone who you would like to see in that position. We're going to start with the position of chairman and go in the order I just went. If there is more than one name nominated, we will vote on that position, on the names in the order they are nominated. So first name gets voted first, second, third. That way, if someone in that group doesn't get it and still feels compelled to lead, they can certainly self-nominate, or someone can nominate them for an additional position. Any questions on the process? Okay. I cannot vote, so it's just the 5 of you. 5 makes quorum, so we're good. We're going to start with the position of chairman. Are there any nominations for the position of chairman?
I'd like to nominate Robert Williams for the position of chairman.
Is there a second for Robert Williams?
I second.
Thank you. Any other nominations for the position of chairman?
I'd like to nominate Keith McCleary.
Are there any seconds for Keith?
I second Keith.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for the position of chairman? All right, it looks like we have 2. We'll start the vote with Robert, and then we will vote on Keith. You are voting for the name and then obviously not voting for them, right? And then we'll do the second person, the one with the most 4 votes will move forward. All in favor of Robert. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I didn't get a second, did I? Yes, I did. All in favor of Robert.
The only question,
Go ahead, please.
is we want to make sure you want to do it, because we didn't hear that and that. I mean,
Okay.
you can be nominated as second, but you may be not interested, so I just want to make sure that you guys are, it's just less of a relevant one until you get to secretary, then it's like they really don't want to do it. But
I'm not prepared to
Okay.
take a position as chairman.
All right, so Keith is now out, so we are voting for Robert. So, how many are in favor of Robert for the position of chairman of the committee? I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
You can vote for yourself.
Thank you.
If you want to.
Therefore, that is unanimous. Robert, congratulations. If you need any help from me, please let me know, and I will send all kinds of information to you over the next week.
Thank you.
All right, moving over to vice chairman. Do I have any nominations for vice chairman?
I'd like to nominate Keith for vice chairman.
Is there a second for Keith?
I'll second that.
Keith, are you interested?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. All right, Keith is now in the running. Do we have any other nominations for vice chairman? All right. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keith, congratulations, it's unanimous. And now we are moving to secretary. For those of you not familiar with the role, because as Tom said, everyone thinks it's the most tedious. I've done it. If you want to weigh in, that's fine. You can, your thoughts. It's not horrible. All you're doing is taking notes. Here's the really good thing about it. You are not expected to write down every single thing that is said or done, okay? Remember, all this is being recorded. You are just making some key notes of the meeting in the order that thing progressed, or key bullet points that you want to make sure someone really pays attention to, okay? So it's not that bad. You take the amenities from everybody, you cut and paste. Your chairman will review it to make sure everything is in line with what they heard, and then it will go up to the corporate secretary and be posted online. All right, not that bad. Anyone interested in being the secretary or would like to nominate someone for the role of secretary?
I would love to nominate Richard. I'm not sure if he's interested.
Well, I've been doing it the last year, so I wouldn't be interested in continuing to do that.
You would or would not?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else interested in nominating someone or self-nominating themselves for the role of secretary?
Can you nominate in absenteeism? So our members that aren't here.
Yeah, but they can't say yes or no.
yeah, you can. You can't. These two gentlemen are lucky. They're not officially on the board until the board votes for them, so they're out. At least for right now, you could delay the vote.
JP's the only one missing, and I have no way of contacting him wherever he is.
Well, you could delay the vote and bring
Right.
more people into the.
You can absolutely delay the vote. Can we talk you into at least one more month after this?
Well, I'm leaving in the morning for a camping trip this week, so I'm not going to be able to do the minutes this week.
Okay.
Because I won't have access to
Right.
Wi-Fi and all that.
I'll be happy to make sure the minutes get taken care of this month. Thank you, Devin.
I think delaying makes sense. I'm totally fine with it.
Anyone have any objections to that? All right, so then your chairman will be running the vote for the secretary position next month. Good luck. All right. I hope you're more successful than I was. Moving on, now we're going to talk about budget. So tonight, Joan's going to give you some information. In my email, I gave you some ideas, food for thought, what we submitted last year. Your chairman will run this process. So if they change the way it was done last year, didn't like it, have a better idea, totally up to your chairman. But we're looking for ideas and recommendations for capital expense. That's going to go for the budget. That's 10,000 or more. And then in the past, we have also provided suggestions on other things that we thought might be beneficial to the community. But certainly it's a form of a recommendation, and really nothing more than that. And again, that's up to the chairman to determine how they want to handle it this year. So Joan, you want to pass out your papers? Any questions or comments while she's doing that? Anything you want to bring to mind for people to think about until the chairman formally organizes how to have this discussion?
So just briefly, because I know we're short on time, this is mostly food for thought. What I do every year is I share with the committee what our division is needing. And as Deborah said, these are projects that are over $10,000. We would rather focus on the big picture, but sometimes the committee members may have a suggestion of something smaller, and you certainly can throw that in. But I have highlighted 3 projects in yellow that I believe need the most attention for you to think about. And the first is the tennis center redo, and you've heard multiple people talk about that, including Richard, who's an avid player. We have delayed this maintenance for 6 years, and the cost continues to escalate because concrete post-tension work for building 2 tennis courts is expensive, and concrete prices have escalated. We need to do, we have 8 courts. We did 2 in 18, and we have 6 more that really need to be done. This is to do 2 more. It's roughly $250. You might be able to get it a little cheaper, not a lot. Again, these are estimates. This is early in the process. We haven't even officially started budgeting yet, but we want your feedback from the committee. So that's one. The next one is a boat motor. To be honest with you, that never used to be CapEx, but as boat motors escalated in price, that was always part of our operations budget, and we've always replaced a motor every year because the pontoon boats at the marina are in heavy, heavy use. And when we rotate them every year, we usually are able to sell one where there's still some life on it and get several $1,000s back. So that's an estimate of $12,000. The next one was also delayed. We talked about this last year. You may remember, depending on how long you've lived here, several years ago, we completely tore up the pool deck on the family side, or what we call the activity side of Kingsdale Pool. We did not have enough money. We also redid the pool. We put the pool deck surfacing down. We did not have enough money to do the adult pool. We knew we needed to do that. We know we wanted to do the area in between by the beach shack. We also know, sorry, not the beach shack, the pool house. We also know that that pool house is in rough shape. This estimate, this non-estimate of TBD includes redoing the actual plastering of the adult pool. That is a sort of a no-brainer. We need to do that even if we can't find the money to do the deck, although admittedly the deck is in rough shape. I've already started some conversations. We may have an ability to eliminate some of the dead space on that adult pool deck, because there's some areas that just over time, that pool deck is 45-ish, 50 years old, is wasted space that might cut off some of the cracking. It might save us some money on the concrete work, but that's all still TBD. So that's what you're really going to be voting on, is what do you think is priority? Then it's going to come down to the board and Tom and those of us that are managers to figure out, well, where could this money come from? Is there enough money to go around? Because certainly while you're passionate about recreation, we know that there are many projects across the POA that need attention as well as recreation. I left the pool house in here just to give you some food for thought. I get comments, Jessica gets comments every year about the shape of those pool houses. To be honest with you, they're a tear down in the need, but I think we do a pretty good job of making them look decent. The tile is very old, both at Metfield and Kingsdale, but in terms of sheer volume, we suggest to do Kingsdale first. Next is a new roof on the pavilion at the beach. That's at Avalon Park. I don't have an estimate for that. I did talk to Eric, who's one of our heads of maintenance, and he believes we'll have to outsource that. We have done some in-house projects. You might have known we did London roof on our own, but our maintenance people, that is quite a risk to do roofing work. And while our maintenance people are fantastic and we keep a lot of projects in-house, that one likely would have to be outsourced. So he's going to be working on getting me a quote for that. New playground phase 2. Full disclosure, we always knew when we put the playground in at Kingsdale that we would like to do a phase 2. Playground equipment has gotten extremely high. In 2018, I redid 3 of our playgrounds. Back then, Metfield was the largest. That's still one of our nicest playgrounds. That cost us $100,000 all in 2018. We couldn't touch it for $225 now in today's prices. So that's why I have a range of $175 to $225. I am suggesting that we don't seriously consider that in 25 because that would be a new thing. I want to remind the committee and our membership that we've been blessed with the treehouse down the road from Kingsdale Park, which was a gift to us and is very well used. There's swings behind it. There's a climbing wall on the back side of it. We are also hopeful to have a second treehouse in that very park gifted to us in the next year. That plan is under work. I believe we need to focus on some of those things that need more repair than the new. New is always great, and trust me, if money was unlimited, I'd be the first one. I love building playgrounds. Well, I physically don't. I love getting to work on those projects and designing them, and you have young kids. But we do have a number of very nice playgrounds in the community. We have Metfield. We have our zip line at the beach. We have a playground at Branchwood Complex. We also have the small playground now at Kingsdale. We have the treehouse. We're going to have a second phase. So that's my recommendation. Of course, if that money suddenly appeared, would I turn it down? Absolutely not. I'm just sharing with you my professional recommendation. The other thing that I have to put on here, and you mentioned, you know, that we're in pretty good shape, but the campground is extremely busy, and the Blowing Springs restroom that goes strictly to the campground, not the public one in the back. We also renovated that one about 5 years ago and put significant money in it so that it could host the people that are using it on the trails, the people that are using the park, now the people that are using the Gear Garden. The restrooms in the park, the campground, need some work. I don't anticipate we're going to be able to find that money in 25. I want it on the radar because it is something that needs to be done. Remember, that amenity does bring in money. We need to continue to bring that money in by keeping that park in great shape. I'm going to stop there and would answer any questions if you need them.
Yes, sir. Could you come to the mic, though, to ask? Thank you.
Just informationally, what's the fiscal year? Is it the calendar year, Jan 1 to, okay.
Yes, it is.
So that's why you're starting now.
And that's a great question. We start budgeting in August, and the approval goes to front of the board early November.
So you're done by December 1, basically.
Yeah, we know what's going on by mid-November.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Anybody else? All right. Any comments or concerns regarding budget before we close the subject?
And then Rick will bring some ideas to
Yeah.
from the list.
Okay, very good. We'll move on. Board liaisons, there's only one here tonight in official capacity, Director Hendren. Do you have any thoughts or comments for us? Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Staff reports. Tom, anything to add?
No, I think I've spoken enough with the presentation.
When we appreciate that very much. Good information. Rick, anything from Lakes?
Real quick, we mentioned that the deal that we have with Ozark Sportsman, just even though we're going into summer, that's still somewhat popular. We had 72 members use that facility with the subsidy that we provide. And in June, we had slightly over 10,000 Lake Ranger contacts for the month, which is by far a record month. And compared to June of 2023, we're at just a little over 8,000 So we were 2,000 up for the month, and that's enough.
Thank you. John?
Just briefly, I'll say June is usually a busy month out at Trap and Skeet, and we redefined busy, I think, this last June. We had also kind of caught a blessing all year where we didn't have a whole lot of maintenance issues, but that ended with a lightning storm right after the big tornado. So we've got everything back open and working now, but for a while we did have some machines down, and we had some pretty significant parts that we had to replace in one of those machines. But we had been relatively maintenance free up until that point. And then also the pictures that you guys saw of the rifle and pistol range, if you were to ride by there today, it looks vastly different than probably what you can imagine. The work is happening very fast thanks to our group of very talented equipment operators that we have here, and those guys are moving as fast as they safely can. I think if everybody just goes by, you'll be amazed at what's happened already.
All right, Joan.
I'm going to throw to Jessica real quick. She will give an update on all the great holiday events we had, but I just want to mention a couple of things. The playground is reopened at Kingsdale Park, and we've also had a new feature for kids and families at what we will be changing the name to is Treehouse Park, especially after the second treehouse, but down there by Bluebird Trail at the bottom of Reardon, we added Ozzy the Turtle. And Trey did a great job building the retainer around it, and the MAC team helped move it into place. So it's a beautiful feature, and kids can climb on it. It's very stable. And with that, including the Marina July 3rd event where our pontoon boats are lotteried off, great event. And what Richard mentioned, our tennis mixer. Jessica's going to talk about a number of events we've had at the pool, both for the holiday and right before.
Thank you. I'll try to make this quick. So first off, June 22nd, we had our swim meet. We were not supposed to host in June, but the Rogers Aquatic Center pool is undergoing, they had a lot of damage on some underground pipes, so they were not ready, and last minute they came to us, and we wanted to make sure our swim team was able to compete, and so we hosted it on Saturday, June 22nd, and it was busy. Then June 23rd, we hosted the kids triathlon, which I can't speak enough to. Aaron and Steve who put that on are such a well-oiled machine, and it is, I think me and Joan both, it's vastly becoming our favorite event. It is so cool and so awesome to see, and I just want to say for anybody listening who has kids, their goal, sometimes people get scared off of triathlon, like, oh man, I mean, that scares me. Their goal is to make sure the kids have fun. It's not, and that is, it's awesome seeing kids in puddle jumpers jump in the pool and do it and just finish. It was so cool. And I think we ended up around 70 for that.
They
Or
had
was it
85.
85, so it was great. So that was a busy weekend. Swim team, we have hit record numbers. Our first session had 99. The second session, we're trying to take it back a little bit. I think we're going to be at 91. It started today. So we are just, I mean, everybody's busier, but no different at the pools. Swim lessons, we added another session. So we had 4 sessions at Metfield, 3 sessions at Kingsdale, and when I say one session has 4 different classes in it, and we had 3 sessions of toddler and me with a parent can get in the water, has to get in the water with the child, and that's under 3. And we are on our last one at Kingsdale and our last one at Metfield, and I think we have 3 openings total of all of them, and this is the last one, so this is usually the one that is the least popular because everybody wants to get their kid in early. So we might have to add another session next year. And then for the 4th of July, we did splashdown at the pools on the same day. Me and Joan divide and conquer, and we did that on July 4th. And she can tell you it was packed at Kingsdale. I was at Metfield. We've never been that busy. But I've never been thanked so much by parents. We have a big splash competition. We had 2 waves of that, and I mean, it's awesome. We get the crowd involved. We get parents that don't have skin in the game as judges, and they judge with the numbers, and the kids love it. They win Sonic gift cards, floaties. I mean, it's fun. And then we have rubber ducky roundup in the kiddie pool for the little ones, which is fun to just watch. Don't forget bingo. Oh yeah, and at Kingsdale they have adult bingo, which is like a hit. She's never seen the adult pool as busy as it was. And they win cool stuff like Bluetooth speaker.
We did 6 games of bingo and they were begging for more.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then we went to July 5th and we both did Sand Fest down at the beach, and they were lined up well before opening. I mean, just lined around the parking lot. That was awesome. So busy as can be. And I just want to say, Alan, from me, admittedly, I had not been to Tanyard Creek since last year. I took my son, and sparkling. So please thank the volunteers. I mean, it's like his favorite place now. It's a great place. So, and that's it from.
All right, thank you all. Sorry about the rush here at the end. Any final comments, suggestions, concerns? All right.
Just to say thank you. I've been a member of a lot of volunteer groups. Never had
Your mic.
anybody as together. The way you run your meetings and the way you bring to the table. Thank you.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you.
I was so glad that you were here when I joined this group.
Appreciate the kind words.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you. I will just add one more thought about the position of secretary. It really is not that bad. And think about, well, first of all, I guess I should start with thank you for the time you put in, because every single one of you for this committee, they have to go out, review the parks, type it up, and then come here and present it. So I don't know exactly how all the other committees work, but it could be time consuming. But think about what you want to do long term. You're doing a lot of good for our community today in the role that you're in. But if you have aspirations of doing more or getting more involved, taking some of these positions is a really good way to learn, to meet people, and to get your name out there so that you can do more things. So please keep that in mind. The next meeting is Monday, August the 12th at 4:00 p.m. here in the boardroom and live stream, and hopefully our new chairman will get you out of here on time. Good night.